There we are. How are you doing today?
Great. How's it going over there?
It's going all right. It's going all right. I'm sure you've gone down many rabbit holes already today talking about this movie.
Welcome to my life.
Well, lots to unpack though. Fascinating, just fascinating to me. But I'm curious for you, what was sort of the impetus and why and how you got involved in making this documentary?
I mean, I've always loved the sort of intersection between, documentary and genre movies. And if the last one was half documentary, half horror, the idea of going half documentary, half science fiction had a real appeal to me. And as I started reading, online people's the common threads and stories they've told about strange things that have convinced them that we're living in a simulation, it felt like we may have, sort of the makings of a nonfiction Twilight Zone on our hands. But the funny thing is, in all these projects, how things drift and change. Once you get under the hood and start working on it.
Yeah, but I mean, is it something that you've thought about in the past, or you kind of just explored it all new when you were doing this?
Well, it had sort of every time I heard about it, whether we're talking, the first time I saw The Matrix, or, even just, episodes of The Twilight Zone, to go back to The Twilight Zone, where
Yes.
the actor would wake up and he, there was a scene where like some pedestrian scene was taking place, and then when the director said cut, the character found himself on the movie set, and the idea of like what world he was really in, was something he had to deal with, and was the problem of the episode. And those kind of stories have always had a real appeal to me. And when a character from The Nightmare actually thought that what he experienced in sleep paralysis was a look beyond the simulation, I got kind of hooked. I don't know that I've ever, really been certain that we're really living in a big computer in the sky someplace, but it does resonate, with just sort of eerie feelings that there's things outside of my perception that are really things that were wheels within wheels within wheels. Sometimes it rang a little true.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I'm, you know what, Twilight Zone, I keep forgetting about how that kind of explored that situation. I loved that. Or the one where the couple is in that town and they can't figure out why there's no one there. And then you find out it's this little girl and it's her playhouse. I mean, it's just all this.
The four characters who are like in the box: the sailor, the ballerina, the soldier.
Yeah. 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 I love all that stuff as well. I mean, what was your feeling when you first saw The Matrix? I mean, I was blown away by the action of it, but I guess I didn't really go delve deep into the idea of it. But how about you? How did it hit you?
Um, I think I was most interested in the visuals at the time, and I was really obsessed with, but with both comics and electronic music. And so, the score and the tone of the movie, was reminiscent of a lot of, sort of music videos from industrial bands that I was really into in those days. And I knew that the guy who did the concept art, Jeff Darrow, who had drawn comics like Hard Boiled, with all these unbelievably complicated machines that you could see every little detail of, and I could feel them. I was also seeing it through the lens of, like at that time, people were really discovering like Hong Kong action cinema and
Yes.
bullet time
Yes.
and running up the walls, and to see it done on this colossal scale. I was aspiring to be a music video director back then. So a lot of it was hitting me on a technical level too. Like, wow, you get a ring of 100 cameras, you take a picture at once, and you can move through. So I was so excited by the boldness of the visual storytelling as much as, the story itself.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, I too, I was just blown away by it as well. And I feel like that one and then Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, they were, you know, sort of
Yeah, yeah.
that idea of that kind of thing. But back to The Matrix. how did you find these people that you talked to for your documentary? I mean,
Well,
Go
we
ahead.
found half of them, but half of them found us. We announced we were making the film, and websites had the story, and we set up a place for people to reach out to us. So very quickly, I had 100 email addresses and paragraph long descriptions of their experiences. And so we found half of the folks through that, and then I interviewed 20, 25 of them before settling on the 4 in the movie. And then there were the other folks that we reached out to based on what they had written, or what I knew about them.
Yeah.
Like Chris Ware had that amazing article in the New Yorker about his daughter's relationship to Minecraft, and I thought that was so strangely touching. A teenager's nostalgia for an environment that she built as a child, and how a father could like physically inhabit the space that she had created, which is one of the thousands of strange, new kind of interactions that computers make possible. Being able to physically put yourself into a gigantic landscape created by a child, I mean, sounds like magic.
It's true. And my daughter, actually, she was a big Minecraft person. I think, she feels the same way kind of about just the idea of that, and how that kind of connected her to other people and that kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, the connection is fairly, real. The visuals, though, talking about your obsession with visuals, this was just fantastic. How did you come up with the idea of doing avatars?
I'm not sure where the idea came at first. I know in every one of these projects, I get a little conceptual about how I want to do the interviews. That I'm allergic to the notion of a beautifully shot talking head cutting to archive, and have to do something that's a bigger pain in the ass for everybody for everybody than that. But I guess the notion of, because my son plays so many games, of seeing larger than life fantastical characters being used as very mundane interactions, whether it's 5th graders talking in Minecraft, or even I'm just on the phone texting emojis and GIFs to friends, that the way people are representing themselves via these unreal characters was one of the things that's especially interesting, and that we wanted to play with.
Now, did the people the 4 that you talked to, did they have some input on what they wanted to look like?
No, they just had to trust me.
I think the fish guy in the with eyes and the suit, I think that's probably my favorite one. He was the weirdest one to look at.
Yeah, no, I worked with a comic book artist, Chris Burnham, who designed the avatars, and then Mindbomb, the animation team, built them out into 3D characters. In fact, one guy, Lorenzo, was wearing one of those motion capture suits to do the animation and make it feel kind of real and spontaneous. And I mean, we were lucky that the technology to do it on a budget like an indie doc budget just happened while we were working on. I mean, it was like the first release of the technology and the software were available while we were in production.
Right. I think I probably have one more question. So I mean, what do you hope people kind of take away from this? Like, holy crap, or like, this was fascinating? I wasn't like, holy crap, I was more fascinated.
Well, I mean, ultimately it's about, these projects for me are all about asking questions, and maybe that a question that is kind of the moment is, are we all living in the same world, or does everybody build sort of their own simulation based on the media they consume, what they learn growing up, what they see around them? How hard is it for us to cross over into sort of consensus reality?
Yeah. Well, this was really a thought provoker, and I'm looking forward to your next thought provoking, mind blowing film.